Do you agree that I like Reverend Moss the third at Trinity Church on 95th Street. So I give him an exclusion.
Okay.
But most of these churches are woeful, man. And most of these politicians are just pimping. And most of the business leaders are big pimping. There's no accountability because most of us don't have a clue what's going on. I think most of us don't even know that we're on Earth, the third planet from the sun. You see what I'm trying to get at?
Right. Yeah, I don't, I mean, it's all true, and I don't even know where to start.
I mean, that's the price. That's why people can run game because we ignorant. Yeah. And we're made ignorant by our institutions.
That is absolutely true. And so what we have to do to combat that ignorance is get us some knowledge in our head. Go out and read some books, join some study groups, go to school, get in school someplace. This is a solvable, fixable problem. But it's not going to fix itself. It's not going to solve itself. We're going to actually have to get out and do the work. And if we are not willing to do the work that's required to fix our problem, then it's not going to get fixed. It's going to continue to get worse.
That's the problem. People say that to help those people in Inglewood or Roseland, that's their problem, and they got to solve their problem. But how can poor? What's the word? Ignorant is so mean. You know what I'm saying? How can they help themselves? They don't have enough education to help themselves.
Well, I would tend to disagree. My contention is that most people have access to information that could be helpful to them if they chose to. Now, whether they choose to is another story. I would definitely agree that in a lot of households, the young people are not getting the kind of encouragement and support that they need to get from their parents and from the older people around that are encouraging them to go to school and to make a better life for themselves. However, those people aren't stupid. And they can look around and they can see the people around them who have decided to go the route of gangbangers, to go the route of the dope dealers. And they see how they end up. They can see, the high school girl got enough friends and associates who've been pregnant and then already had kids to know what's going to happen to them and how their lifestyle is going to be affected when that happens. So I'm saying that within the context of their own communities, they can see what's going around. They can see that some people make bad choices that cost them heavily, and the other people make good choices and they got caught up in their nonsense. And so they still have some options available to them.
But you said it right. A lot of folks say ignorant. I think we just get caught up in the culture of our neighborhood.
Right, we do. One of the things I hate about the black community is this whole mindset and culture that we don't know and we don't want to know. That if I don't know this, I don't need to know this. Just this whole anti-intellectual attitude, this whole notion that if I read a book, if I try to take in some knowledge, that somehow I'm square or I'm not cool or I'm not hip.
You hit on the head. They're anti-intellectual. I call myself a pseudo-intellectual.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But that we don't know and we don't want to know. Anti-intellectual.
Right. And unfortunately there's a lot of that exists in our communities where people don't have information, they don't know information on a lot of things, and they don't want to know, and resent you trying to bring them information. So some people, I contend some people are lost, some people are gone.
Yeah, you can't help everybody, but that's why I say let's focus on the children. I'm sorry about you adults, but it really comes back to parenting and successfully co-parenting our children.
Yep, I think that again, whether this couple is formally together or not, if they're living together or not, they need to come up with some kind of plan on how to put their child's interests ahead of their individual interests. And they need to make decisions that's based on the best interest of the child, even if it happens to be inconvenient for them being the parents. That's their responsibility for bringing this new life into the world. If children were born knowing everything they needed to, they would be born grown. They're born at a very teeny age not knowing very much because they got parents who's supposed to spend 20 years raising them and preparing them how to be successful in the particular world that they live in. And so we need to do this for our children. We need to be able to provide some safe space for our children. I mean, just in terms of the men on the block, people forming block clubs, trying to form mutual defense associations. So that we ain't dealing. If the gangbangers come on this block, the whole block gonna come out and deal with them. There ain't gonna be no one individual, so forth and so on. We need to start using our creative energies how to solve our problems. Education is supposed to teach people how to solve the problems that they are affected by. And so if the education you're receiving is not teaching you how to solve the problems that you're affected by, then the education you're receiving is essentially useless. All right? I mean, how do you explain the fact that you got black folks with MBAs and they ain't got no business to manage, and you got Koreans who can't speak English and they got businesses up the yin yang? At some point, we got to start asking questions about why this situation is so messed up and what is it that we can do to fix it. The one thing that we're not going to do is get the assistance to fix our problems from the people who are creating these problems for us. They're not going to do that. They didn't create the problem for us so they could fix the problem. They create the problem for us so that we could get stuck in this for forever. And up to this point, it's been working pretty good.
Well, we get confused because you got one set of those people who create the problem and then go hide or they're hidden. Mm-hmm. Then their cousin comes saying, "I'm here to help you." Okay. So we get confused because their cousin come and help us, mm-hmm. but their other cousin is really the bad guy. So we get this good cop, get bad cop. We get really confused with what's going on, and I can't think of other than a few people like yourself, Gimbu, who's really telling the truth. Everybody's just big pimping and they're perpetuating the ignorance that's so pervasive in our community.
Well, that's certainly true. I wish I knew.
Can I come back next month and do some more?
Sure.
We're done. Go ahead, man.
I wish I had a better answer in terms of how to do this, but
yeah, I know, man. It's just perplexing. But let's focus on our children, and we'll come back next month, a month or two, to do some more, man.